Wozniak presents... Warline Forever starring Scott Wozniak. I looked it up. Apparently this video is an hour long, so I'm probably going to stop reacting like somewhere 10 minutes in. Because I don't want to make it into the... Oh, episode 200. Good job, man. I don't want my reaction video to be impossibly too long. Okay. Yes, it's a premiere.
Hey y'all, Scott here. Are you about 3 large footsteps away from the grave? Need to go time before you go thunk in a casket? Might I suggest learning to talk about video games? What else would I do at my funeral? If it wasn't for talking about video games, I'd be happy. It takes a lot of no shame to do, so tell me, are you gonna learn how to talk about video games? Or are you gonna have integrity? Look at this. This is your life now. First step to talking about video games is not playing video games, and I cannot stress that enough. Why be a video game player when you can make silly comments about them? It's the same sentiment I have towards the working class. So, put the controllers down and repeat after me. This game is f***ing bullshit!
Okay.
Video games are art and have been one of the leading ways for artists to express themselves in recent memory.
Hey, some call me Johnny.
Completely warranted. But if you're worried about losing the listener's attention during, make sure to spice things up by making funny random noises. While discussing said video game, don't be afraid to not talk about video games while talking about video games for roughly 5 to 10 minutes while you act out some kind of a skit. Make sure it isn't funny. Some people call this a waste of time. I call it a filibuster. You gotta have your arch nemesis game, one you just can't escape from. Sure, you could just not play it, but then what would I have to do tomorrow? Hey, it's been a while since that random noise. Still there?
Stand in front of your game collection to announce your resignation from society.
It's a good thing to yell a lot. People won't take you seriously if you aren't screaming.
Yeah,
I call this the Thanksgiving dinner approach. Now, it's really important to act like you're better than the game you're talking about. This can be achieved with a few, who made this? And what is this game? But if you don't know what to say, you can always just start acting awkward and give yourself a double chin. So on to the next one, which is the one after the last one. The next one is the stuff. It's the one.
Okay.
Swearing. Yes. Swearing is the genetic staple of the video game player. You truly play video games if you can say fuck about them. And if you aren't willing to say fuck uncensored, get the fuck out of here.
Duly noted.
You have to have an opinion on every game. The right opinion. You have to play every game. Get the fuck out of here.
ABGN,
awesome. It's the one. Swearing. Yes.
Fuck yes.
Swearing is a genetic staple of the video game player. You truly play video games if you can say fuck about them. And if you aren't willing to say fuck uncensored, get the fuck out of here.
Really?
Duly noted.
You have to have an opinion on every game. The right opinion. You have to play every game too.
Him.
And
was it Connor the Waffle? Just kind of want to make sure.
Like every game, except for the bad ones. If you mess up one of these, play it off as a joke. Maybe make a funny quip about it and shake some yellow text around you to prove you're serious about being funny. Funny moment! And you can't just talk about video games, you gotta be funny, especially if you're not funny. That way you can deflect criticisms by stating you shouldn't be taken seriously. If you need to be seen playing video games, hold the controller as close to your chin as possible and frown.
Yeah, of course.
Can you tell the controller's not even plugged in?
Are you better than the person listening? No, but you have more Wii U games than them, so always remind them of that.
React accordingly to anything happening on screen, i.e. scream. And when you start talking games with people, make sure to not see them there. Oh, hi, I didn't see you there.
You have to do your research and get everything right about Mega Man 4. If you don't...
That's kind of bandy.
You look like an idiot. If someone pays you to talk about a video game, Don't act like you already had integrity.
Maybe you could gather various like-minded people together and pose a threat. Like, watch yourself, or I'll start a podcast.
Feel free to really express some emotions here. You're talking about video games, for God's sake. I'd cry too if I were talking about Mario Party.
If you're having a hard time crafting your own things to say about
Quentin,
these games, never count out plagiarism. It's a myth anyways. The alphabet's not copyrighted, go.
Of course, everybody has their own opinion, and that's the way it should be. There's never going to be a right or wrong one to have on a video game, and if someone disagrees with you, you can always call them a over email.
And that just about covers what you need to know to talk about video games. You truly have what it takes to waste your time.
Of course, you need to know when to stop talking, so might I suggest a poignant stinger to end things before you get all blue? So grab a dictionary and find a random string of words that you think would work well together. I own more Wii U games than you. Wow, it's like fake.
Okay. Wow.
I shouldn't have ticked over that.
Oops. To prove his innocence, so for what?
Morning.
That looked like, was that Nathaniel Bandy on the bike?
Welcome to the fun side of my brain, filled with an urge to collect video games and an obscene amount of Nintendo knowledge. I call it my wild side, doctors call it a tumor. I just like consistency, knowing these things will always be here, organized, alphabetically. This is my thing.
Okay.
Thank you. It used to be abstinence, but this works more. Everybody should get into this kind of stuff. We all have the same hobby. That way it'll be even more confusing why nobody would talk to me. Many consider this a waste of time, so that I say, well, so is living. Things could be worse. Stupid Nintendo games may be my only true hobby, but at least I'm not politically aware. I mean, there is no true end in sight here. I did the math, and there are a lot of stupid Nintendo games. There's no excuse now. Everybody should have no life.
Okay, sure.
Over 15,000 games to try to discuss and later shelve. The consistency alphabetically, and player's choice can go to hell. The size and shape of discs and cards. For an hour or so I'll talk. I'd swipe right on them till both my thumbs are stems. Cause every day's Bad Tuesday in my eyes. This world doesn't get my passion. They all think we play motions a sin. But it's their loss, for they got no spare time to waste. This is something I know we should all embrace.
Okay.
I'm on a quest to address all the requests. Please understand this kind of stuff is virginetic cachet. We have been blessed, no time to rest. I've got a lot to undress. You don't need sex, this is better anyways. It's stupid Nintendo games. It may be hard to find a place to start, so might I suggest? Not that. Might I suggest a Geist to start things out, then moving on to Pack and Roll.
Okay.
Lost in Blue and Tetris 2, or whatever's left at Kohl's.
I've never been to Kohl's
Man
before.
Selfless Clubhouse Games, name a better pair to taste. If you said Madden 09 and Skin, get the fuck out of my face. Tell me that you understand.
As a vegan, this fits my diet plan.
They make for great target tracking, as long as I'm not having sex.
These are one of these fucking gex.
I shouldn't dwell. I've got no sex to sell. Take them all and distribute them, and you're spreading we play. It's a swell, these extra copies, extra ban you from hell. I've got a Blink Smash to play every single day. Stupid Nintendo games. I might be slightly obsessed. How could I not be? Have you seen these? I've got no shame to blame. And you're down and feeling blue when life drops in around you. There's a solution for all that pollution diluting your brain. Stupid Nintendo games. Who wants to compare pens? This is my one true love. Never finding a mate. Look at all these things.
God damn it.
Games.
Never finding a mate.
Super Mario Bros. 2 is such a funny wet fart of a game. Why did it have to say Mario Madness on the cover? It almost looks like it's supposed to be the subtitle of the game, like Super Mario Bros. 2.
Tell me something I don't know.
Mario Madness.
Take it.
River City Ransom. I bought on the Wii Shop channel because I heard somebody say it was an 80s equivalent to Grand Theft Auto, and man, I wanted a game like that so bad.
It wasn't.
Oh man, it's just like Grand Theft Auto. The characters have skin. I like this game because it taught me proper money management. And we all know that's stuck. I bought Donkey Kong Jr. Math. How do we know that?
They're gonna break my legs.
It was an investment. A fun investment. Yeah, how fun is that
Okay.
10 grand surgery you just had? Let me spend 200 in peace. You've got to hand it to Nintendo. All the Donkey Kong Jr. fans are off the street now. Why do coke when you
Wow.
can do math? You know, the NES is well known for all the horrible licensed games, but I gotta admit, Back to the Future could be worse. Don't get me wrong, it's bad and barely follows the movie, but I don't think
Yeah.
it's as terrible as something like Ghostbusters or Where's Waldo. Look, my copy has a foot
Probably.
wound. I mean, that says it all right there. Last owner must have hated it. Man, this game. Oh, damn it.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Where is Waldo? Kung Fu Heroes! It's been too long. I used to play this at my grandma's house all the time. Like once, I played it once. Pinball is a fucking lie, and I'm tired of acting like it isn't. This isn't pinball, but when you actually play the game, this is pinball. You snakes! The reproduction Nintendo
Okay.
World Championships and Campus Challenge cartridges. Always a joy to have these as a part of my estate. Do I care these reproductions are not the real deal? Well, no. I bought these to officially play them on an actual system. Plus, if I owned the originals, I think I would quit my job just to care for them.
How do I tell them I quit?
The NES is such a wonderful pantry
Really?
of simple, fun, and dog shit games. I love this system, though. Why does the controller have to be this way? Why can't the buttons be slightly angled? You know how your thumb is? And when they redesigned the controller, they made the button placement worse. I woke up and my thumbs were like this one day. I was so fucking happy I could use this controller. Even though these official Nintendo created NES controllers have a button layout that can definitely wear on the thumb, I still love this system. But hey,
Yeah.
what about the Super Nintendo? Everybody needs to have a few Super Nintendo games. We're
Oh,
running out of
Super Nintendo
excuses
was
not to.
amazing.
You know, we've already
Loved
had two
it.
World Wars. Might as well block while you're at it. I've got one Tetris Attack for you. This one's Tetris Attack. Easily one of my top favorite Super Nintendo games.
Okay.
And it isn't even real. They took this Japanese puzzle game with dear god anything but reptiles. And when bringing it over here, they gave it a reskin with all kinds of Yoshi's Island characters. And while we're at it, Yoshi's Island.
Oh, yeah.
What a thing. The Super
game's
Nintendo has
amazing.
one of the greatest lineups of 2D platformers.
It
That would
does.
stop me from considering Family Feud to be one of my favorite games on the system. What makes the
Soap moist.
You are such an
Name
idiot.
something kids use.
Tonsils.
Name
What?
something parents save from a first baby to use for a second.
Food.
Name something that's often located in the basement of the house.
The basement.
Name something people start but never finish.
Me. War. Books of Faith.
Doom's
Books,
ass
yeah.
red cartridge. You know, the color of ass.
Right?
Oh my god, this version's so bad! It's impressive they got it on the Super Nintendo in general, but it's just not powerful enough for a game like this. Wolfenstein 3D works better, but it's heavily censored, which is kind of bizarre. Like, would you really be that surprised playing a game called Wolfenstein 3D?
Hitler.
At least Doom has the colored cartridge, like Killer Instinct. This is a fun way to
I
annoy
liked
me.
Killer
Super
Instinct, it was
Punch-Out's
fun.
weird. Like, the NES game is the most famous. It's one of my favorites on that console, but who the hell talks about the Super Nintendo one?
Yeah, it's
Nothing
too
wrong
bad.
with it. It's just the controls and sound effects don't feel as good as the original on NES. To anybody who disagrees, I'll see you in court.
Crucifixion's a bit harsh.
Donkey Kong
Yeah,
Country
it is.
3, the one I just can't own. I've never legally owned this game. If you don't believe me, look through my tax records.
It's a
You know
great
Donkey.
game. I love
But I
it.
beat the original Donkey Kong Country. Great game. I did it with the rewind feature on the SNES Online app on Nintendo Switch. Do I deserve to have hands? Nah, I only felt the need to use it when this part came up, where differently colored ropes do differently colored things. I looked at my excuses for the day and considered this to be a rewind warranting event. The Super Nintendo is such a cozy corner of gaming.
It
Games
is.
were still simple at their core back then, but they had so much more depth now. A game like Super Mario World is pretty much in line with the Mario games on NES, but this one just goes so much deeper than that. It has a map screen that eventually tells you to go f yourself. A Link to the Past is a full realization of what the original Legend of Zelda on NES was doing. Super Metroid is the same. Super Castlevania 4, Mega
those
Man
games are
X, Kirby
incredible.
Superstar. This is where many
Oh,
of
God.
gaming's
Kirby
greatest
Superstar is
franchises
so
of all
awesome.
time, to tons of fans, peaked. It doesn't get much better than this. But you ever wonder what the hell is up with these boxes? What is this design? It makes no sense. You know what'll get people to want Super Nintendo games?
Geometry.
And the fact these boxes are cardboard, please. I mean, it was
Yeah.
excusable on the NES. Here, it's damn near inexcusable. The Nintendo 64 is a solid rebound. If by solid you mean painful. Good thing I only see in 5 frames a second. Nah, it's a great system. It just isn't as slam dunkish as the other ones. Like, it obviously has its downsides. It doesn't age that well, for one. This generation of gaming as a whole doesn't really. Like, you consistently still see new games come out mimicking 8 and 16-bit style graphics.
They have,
Nobody
yeah.
would be caught dead trying to resurrect this. At least we got Mario Party 1 out of it all, the greatest party game ever told. In reality, it may be a repetitive, unpolished go at the franchise that only started to get bad after it got good 9 entries in, but in my heart, It is the
That
quickest
9 was
I've
considered
ever
bad.
played. Super Smash Brothers. Look at that real cartridge. This ain't
Yeah.
no holographic trick. If it was, could I do this? See, it's real. The start to one of the most fun gaming franchises to discuss. Whether you're into the competitive scene or just like talking how different noses look between games. Smash Brothers just kind of brings everybody together, and the original Nintendo 64, while incredibly simple, still holds up to some extent.
It
Mario
does, yeah.
Kart 64. Many consider it to be the greatest kart racer of all time. I consider it to be that game where Yoshi looks weird. 20 bones to whoever can tell me what this is. The new Tetris. Well, yeah, because this shit was old. Glover! Can you believe I have a room for a game I never played?
What do you mean, yes?
Yoshi's Story is this bizarre take on a Yoshi's Island successor. It's still
Yeah.
pretty good, but it's so similar yet so different from any other Yoshi game.
The controls are better, it's
You don't
just
just get to the end of
way
the level,
shorter.
just do what my dietitian said and eat 30 fruit. So we gotta just find 30 pieces of fruit and then we move on to the next level. It's kind of an interesting direction. Hopefully the next Yoshi game does something just as unique. The same thing are good. My go-to game on this console will forever be Super Mario 64.
It's
Scott,
incredible.
you're gonna tell us your Ling's favorite food is air. I can't help it. My body knows what it likes. The Nintendo 64 is a console I've learned to love, though it's
You got a
far
disc,
from
you got
my
a DD.
favorite. That's
Nice.
only because of these damn cartridges. Nintendo, come on, no end labels? I need to know if this is Glover or not. Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God.
All of them are-
There's something about that original Game Boy that's just so endearing. But guys, the first handheld game console, because who wants to admit the Microvision exists? I mean, this thing is perfection with a Tetris cartridge in it. But I have the new Tetris now. F you. Alleyway is a fun one. It launched with the system and is a direct clone of Breakout. But I think
It
the
is.
day Nintendo avoids the question, they refuse to admit it. It's one of those older Nintendo titles where they threw Mario in it for no reason. See
Yeah.
that stick? That's Mario. Well, now we gotta play it. These early Game Boy games are so cute. They're so simple, but they know what they are, and they don't try to bite off more than they can chew. That is a definite problem with a few titles for the handheld. They would just try to take some NES or SNES game and shrink it down and expect it to work. Donkey Kong Land. It's Donkey Kong Country on the go.
Yeah. Don't like the second game as much. I thought the first.
You know, I just discovered
First
I could
game is
take
the
a
best.
shit on the
I like the
go.
third
All I
one.
have to do is shit my pants.
Even some of the best games on here, like Link's Awakening
Oh,
and
yeah,
Super
those
Mario
are
Land 2,
fantastic.
I mean, they are struggling with the limitations of the Game Boy at times. And yet, these are still such treasured products to
They're
me.
amazing
Sometimes
games.
It's nice to go back to a time where this was all that was available in terms of handheld on-the-go gaming. You couldn't play The Witcher 3 at only 540p portably. You had to settle. And with all these limitations, developers still delivered well-designed and fun games.
They did.
Tetris is what it is because of the Game Boy. Pokemon came out at what was supposed to be the end of the Game Boy's life.
I
and
know.
that's something you don't want to do on your deathbed.
It's
You release
crazy.
Pokemon. Interesting concept. You collect and battle creatures. Let's try it out.
There, I tried Pokemon. You happy?
But I mean, Nintendo knew the Game Boy was starting to show its age. That's why we got the Game Boy Color. the
Exactly.
full successor to the original Game Boy. Full successor, I swear to Christ.
We grow closer to my death every time I say that.
How could it not be? So many sources group Game Boy and Game Boy Color together. Bullshit
Yeah.
gaming journalists who don't know anything. People like Nintendo. Listen, I get it, but the Game Boy Color had too many exclusive games for me to not consider it a full-fledged successor. I'll admit it's just a
You have a good
technical
point.
upgrade to the original Game Boy. When I finish the Minish Cap, I adore the old-school Game Boy experience, but it is far from perfect.
Obviously.
Guess why? Now, the Game Boy Advance, that's where
backlighting,
things
yeah.
start to pick up. I bet this game looks pretty fun. The GBA was like a portable Super Nintendo, but that's
It
kind of all
was.
it is to me. I feel like so much of this handheld's identity revolved around games for other consoles. Oh my god, Super Mario World is here! And A Link to the Past! And Kirby! And Metroid! And Donkey Kong! I mean, it was a dream come true to be able to play these classic games on the go in all their glory, but what does the Game Boy Advance have to call its own? It's Mr. Pants? To be fair, there's quite a few games
There's
in this
Mario
old
versus
guy,
Donkey
including
Kong.
Mario vs. Donkey Kong, a follow-up to
But-
Donkey Kong on the original
Yeah,
Game
that's
Boy.
why.
This game was the best. It's like you'd expect it to
Oh, I
just be
love that
Donkey Kong
game.
from the arcades on the go. In
So
reality,
good.
it scares the out of me.
Well, that's the end of Donkey Kong.
It keeps going after the original arcade game ends, and it's this meaty puzzle platformer.
It's so great. I
amazing.
love that
Plus,
game.
it has this
I wish they
exclusive border on
made more of
Super
these.
Game Boy for the Super Nintendo. And now I can play my Game Boy games on the big screen in a house while I'm right next to a ceiling. God works. The Super Game Boy is pretty rad. It has all these settings you can tweak. You can
Yeah.
change the border, make your own border
True.
for all I care. But it can play Game Boy Color or Game Boy Advance games. For that, you'll need the Super Game Boy 2, only released in Japan. Look, it's clear like a Game Boy
Doesn't play
Color
those.
cartridge.
Doesn't play
It's color.
those.
Like the Game Boy Color. It shows a Game Boy Color on the box. It released around the Game Boy Color's release. The Super Game Boy 2 must play Game Boy Color.
It doesn't.
Does it? Looks like we have to move up a generation or two to the GameCube with the Game Boy Player. Alright, so this is a bit more of a mess. Instead of a regular cartridge, we gotta screw this on the bottom. Let's pop the startup disc in. The last thing the Game Boy Player arc of my life needed was a startup disc. Well, when we get in there,
Did you insert your game?
I mean, it's playing the Game Boy games, and Color, and Advance as well. However, this thing reeks of anti-personality. Compared to the Super Game Boy, I was worried that thing was gonna f my wife. Look at how cool it is! Here, this is just the most convenient means of playing the entire Game Boy line. I'm too bored to yawn. But it's still a lifesaver of a device, and all more reason why the GameCube reigns supreme. My favorite console. Many would assume it's the Wii or Wii U. They didn't have Odama. Nintendo was firing at all cylinders on this console.
Yeah, it's too bad it didn't
every
sell
one of their
very well.
franchises got major installments here. Mario, Zelda, Metroid, Donkey Kong, Smash Brothers, F-Zero, Star Fox, Animal
Great
Crossing,
games,
Fire
though.
Emblem, Wario, Wave Race, 1080, Pikmin, Paper Mario, Mario Kart, Party, Golf,
Thousand Year
Tennis,
Door was
Baseball,
so good.
Strikers, Odama. Geist is funny. Nintendo published a first-person shooter about ghosts. I was hoping they'd follow it up with an RPG about bees.
I didn't even know about this
Luigi's
game.
Mansion is such an interesting game. Like,
Knew
you
about
explore
Luigi's
this haunted
Mansion, of
mansion
course.
and finish the game 3 hours later. I'd say the following games in the series took the general gameplay of Luigi with vacuum and a bit more, but they will never live up to the amount of ambiance this original game has. You can just feel how haunted this place is. It's such a fun experience. Dance Dance Revolution Mario Mix, because I only do what Mario tells me to.
Why not?
Yeah.
It sure is Dance Dance Revolution, and this is the only DDR game on the GameCube, and that's weird. Out of all platforms to put that game on during this generation, just the PS2 and Xbox. Not the system with customers willing to buy stupid plastic bullshit for it. The GameCube microphone used for Mario Party 6, Odama, and eviction notices. The DK bongos, different game, same story. See, the GameCube still did a lot of that weird Nintendo bullshit, but it also had a normal controller and amazing
a
games.
really
You got the
good
best of both
controller.
worlds. Of course, looking at it critically, though, the third-party support was definitely one of its weaker elements. It was definitely
Just to
better
an
than
extent,
something
yeah.
like the Nintendo 64, but most third-party games were for the kids. Sure, we got our Resident Evils and Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, yeah.
Solid Twin Snakes, Super Monkey Ball, Beyond Good and Evil, Tales of Symphonia. But the other consoles had Grand Theft Auto 3. Also, I love this controller, but why is the D-pad so small? Why is the C-stick so tiny? Why only one Z button? Why the region locking? I can't easily play Japanese games on my console. I know that's a thing on multiple systems, but I just want to play Nintendo Puzzle Collection in peace. I have to use an action replay disc to even kind of play it, and bam, beautiful. This is one of my
Okay.
only cheat devices. I can use it to not play Mario Sunshine. I also have
Okay.
Dream Mix TV World Fighters, a Smash Brothers clone featuring Bomberman and Simon Belmont and Optimus Prime. It's just missing Master Higgins. I also have The Legend of the Quiz Tournament of
That's a
Champions,
surprise.
a trivia game published by Nintendo. You can play as Jeff Foxworthy. You gotta
Does
appreciate
look
and
like him.
despise these Japanese game boxes. They're cute and cool, but the outer sleeve is so easily losable and damageable. But that's about all I can say. I can only really go on for about 45 more minutes.
Yeah.
There are only a few things in this world I could talk about for over 23 minutes. At least the Wii had the purest white game boxes known to man, a smoker's mortal enemy. God, I mean, the GameCube may be my favorite system, but the Wii is just so interesting. It had exactly what people wanted and none of what they wanted. Come on, games
Yeah,
for your
it's
stupid
true.
fucking uncle like Wii Fit and Calvin Tucker. But then for the core audiences, you got Zelda, Metroid, Donkey Kong, Mario, Sin and Punishment, a sequel to a Japan-only cult classic shooter on the Nintendo 64.
Yeah, that was a big
Who would have
surprise.
expected that? GoldenEye 007 on Wii is one of my
I think that was only because they were selling Sin and Punishment for the N64 on the Wii Virtual Console, and I guess people actually enjoyed it enough that they decided to make the sequel on the Wii. But yeah, GoldenEye Wii, I have so many videos of GoldenEye Wii from I uploaded back in 2010, 2000, and 2011. It used to be like the only thing that my channel had, basically, was GoldenEye Wii. I made a lot of friends playing that game online, though. Some of them I haven't really talked to them in a long time, but some of them I've, stayed in contact with occasionally.
favorites, a reimagining of the Nintendo 64 classic. A lot of diehards don't like this one because it's basically just Call of Duty, but some bundles came with the Golden Classic Controller Pro. The original didn't do that. Super Mario Galaxy is my favorite game of
I like how in GoldenEye Wii the campaign is a lot better. It's you do a lot of actions, and I like how when you actually fight Trevelyan, it's more like the movie when you're actually having to fight fist to fist, deal with all the physical elements, all that stuff. It's not just you just shooting him, but yeah, I mean they definitely took some liberties with it for sure.
all time. Thank you very much. The pinnacle of Space Mario. Mario Galaxy is my favorite game of all time, thank you very much. The pinnacle of Space Mario. It's just such a magical feeling playing this game, even over a decade later.
Yeah, it's a great
I'm sure
game.
by the time it's 20 and I'm battling some kind of fun new disease, it'll still be. But the Wii was when anybody over the age of 40 started throwing a tantrum over using motion controls. I don't know, this ball segment of Mario Galaxy always gets brought up, and I never thought it was that bad. It'll come back to me in 17 years. I'll be
I don't
bald
remember
and
it being a
native.
big
Even
deal.
The casual experiences on Wii I love. Wii Sports.
Yeah, Wii Sports
Play,
was fun,
Kids,
actually.
Drama. Big Brain Academy Wii Degree is an awesome multiplayer game. Smarty Pants is still one of my favorite generic trivia games. Family Feud Decades? Name one of baseball's great all-time sluggers.
Only baseball team I know, Harlem Globetrotters.
That's
Is your
basketball
answer
and
there?
fake.
Name a song made famous by Elvis Presley.
Eek, it's Elvis.
Name a game that all the kids in the neighborhood can play together.
Polyamory?
As much as I
wrong
love
with
the
you?
system, again, it's not perfect. Whenever a game asks me to shake the nunchuck, like, this thing was not meant as a shaking device. It has the weight of an empty pencil cup. The amount of shovelware.
Ugh, yeah,
I
that was a
actually kind of
problem.
like. Sure, these things may be filling a landfill somewhere, but I'm sure I can find some use for them someday. Let's not forget the Wii had such classics as Vince Young starring in Madden 08.
Every story has a Christ figure.
And then followed up by the most disappointing sequel to Christ I've ever seen, Brett Favre starring in Madden 09. Go f*** yourself. Jesus Christ, games on this console can be hideous. This was the dropping
Yeah,
off
that's
point for
true.
developers who kind of cared. They either did or they didn't on the Wii. There's no in between. The same can sort of be said about the Nintendo DS. Like, we were either playing one of the
Came out
greatest games
before
of all
the Wii.
time or Chrono Trigger. The DS, man. So many stupid fucking things came out here, but it has one of the best libraries as well. Though on the Nintendo first-party side of things, it was a little...
Wario Master of Disguise. Dang, I had that game for a short amount of time, but I didn't actually play through the whole thing. The problem was there was a level I was at, I think it was like the 4th or 5th level, and I just could not figure out where I was going. And back then I should have looked up like some guides on how to get through it, but didn't. This was like before YouTube took over my life. You know, this was like 2006 or something. Maybe 2007, I don't remember. I know YouTube started in late 2005, but I didn't start my channel until 2008, so I didn't really look up, you know, videos on how to beat stuff back then. I wish I did, though. I'm sure there was at least one, even that far back, and maybe I would have gotten through the whole game. And here's, you know, what's this one called? Phantom Hourglass. That was actually really cool. That game was really cool. I wish I finished it, but it was a really cool game. I loved it.
week. But under classic books, come on, as well. Many stupid fucking things came out here, but it has one of the best libraries as well. Though on the Nintendo first-party side of things, it was a little weak. But under classic books, come on, I want to read, not count. DS games look so chunky now, whether they're 3D or 2D. They just all look so DS. Let's not forget the touchscreen. Everybody lost their stylus, but I never did. Doesn't even matter. You
Yeah,
can
I
use
still
anything on
got
the
mine.
screen. Fingers, car keys. Using the stylus for
keys?
code chat or
Don't
for
do
Mario
that.
64 DS if I was trying to find new ways to embarrass myself. The Nintendo DS browser. I bought this before knowing what a
Didn't.
Wi-Fi connection was. I will never get those $30 back. The DS is great, but I do feel like it has aged a bit more than other handhelds. It's in this weird purgatory of just powerful enough to do 3D graphics, but barely. But then even the 2D stuff doesn't look the hottest. Almost of the problems with the DS were rectified with the Nintendo 3DS. However, it had an opposite problem. DS had great third-party support, iffy first-party. 3DS had amazing first-party support, but then barely any of the third parties cared. Ubisoft, Activision, EA, they all tried for like 1 year and then just gave up. But it didn't matter because we got... Christ, Metroid Prime Federation Force?
terrible.
Mario Party the Top 100?
I like that one.
Triforce
I
Heroes?
like that one.
Mario Sports Superstars? Pokemon Rumble Blast? Yoshi's New Island? Mario Sticker Star? Hey, Pikmin! There's the Nintendo Switch guys. Oh my god, isn't Super Mario and Art so quirky and unique? Nintendo,
Super
who's
Mario
running
and Art is fun.
ReShop now? Oh, great, a controller for rats. Bravely Default, too. Is that a sentence? Demon Ex Machina. This is still medically the only game with a 60 or above on Metacritic to have given me pink eye. Paper Mario the Origami King. Oh, but we skipped over an important console here. The Sega Master System.
What?
It's so charmingly pathetic. What the f*** is this? Who asked for this? Why do I have to look between the TV and gamepad to change system settings? Nintendo TV?
That never
why not
happened,
publish
did it?
Devil's Third Nintendo? The Wii U microphone exists. There's a goddamn mic on the gamepad. Why are these two cases black? Why is this one cream colored? Why does this one not have the blue ridge? Why remake Wii Sports? Why swap between controllers so much? Why in Super Mario 3D World's multiplayer does this big blue border appear? God, everything Nintendo's done, I have something to bitch about! Why is this wet? Why does this repel virginity? And again, in Mario 3D World, why in multiplayer does this big blue border appear? I get that it's supposed to tell you that the players are too far apart, but it comes out of nowhere. It sometimes doesn't leave, and it's just always there, mocking me, just like every shape I've ever met. Where does this blue border get off? Wait. It's like... Go away! I hate shapes!
Yes, you do.
This is how it's always been?
It's me.
I know a lot of me. I'm gonna end it here. I apologize. It's just, as much as I'd like to watch the video all the way through, I just don't have the time. I don't. I'm gonna give it a like. I hope that it looked pleasing on here. There's a reason why I usually would download a video and then watch it that way as opposed to watching it on the internet, because sometimes there's lag. But yeah, I'm gonna stop right here. Reason why is because I don't have the time to watch the entire hour of this video. So if you want to watch the rest, go to Scott DeWaz's video to finish it on his channel. Anyways, thank you for those who have watched up to the point that I got to on this React video. I'm gonna watch the rest on my own time without doing a react to the rest. I mean, unless there's demand for me to react to the rest of the video, maybe I'll do this like in 2 parts or something. I've never done that before. I don't even think other React channels do that, but I just don't have the time. I have to return to work, and yeah, I have to return to work. It's a very busy day today, as it's Sunday. It's usually the most busy day to work with DoorDash, and I got a lot on my mind, actually, because I did really well at an interview for a job at River Rock Casino, and I'm considering either taking that job or not taking it. I love my job with DoorDash, so I don't even know for sure if I want to take the job at River Rock Casino or not, because they want to make, if I work there, it has to be my #1 job, not DoorDash. And I might not get the hours I want. I want to get hours that are consistent so that, you know, I work at less busy times at River Rock so I can work at busier times with DoorDash later. But unfortunately, they I have to work the hours that they would give me, even though the billboard advertisement said they were flexible. I don't know. Anyways, a lot to think about. I'm gonna have to return to work, but thank you so much for watching up to this point. Maybe I'll react to the second half of this video just so that I actually have this complete, or, you know, just enjoy the first half on this react and then enjoy the second half by watching it on Scott DeWaz's actual channel. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and click that bell icon to add me notifications. I also have other Scott DeWaz videos that I've reacted to in my Scott DeWaz React Videos playlist. You see, I don't always react to Scott DeWaz videos because they're long, like this one. This one's like an hour long. I'm not going to react to the whole thing. I got to go back to work. But what'd you think about the video? I thought it was really entertaining. Got quite a bit of laughs in there. There were some things I disagree with him on, but a lot of things I just, you know, and got great laughs out of. I think the DS is, I mean, prior to the Switch coming out, the DS was probably the greatest handheld ever, in my opinion. I grew up in the 90s and loved my Game Boy, but my memories of the DS are somehow, actually, I have more fond memories of it. Maybe because I had more friends at the time than I did in the 90s, and we played a lot of Advance Wars together and Pokemon battles and, you know, other things. But and Mario Kart and so on the DS. But there's just a lot of great games on the DS, and I mean the graphics on the DS are better than the N64, which is impressive for a handheld that came out in 2004. So obviously the graphics are not haven't aged the greatest. They're kind of weird looking, like N64 graphics, but still a lot of fun. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and click that bell icon to have me notifications. Watch the rest on Scott the Waz's video. And if you want me to upload the rest of it on my own React, I'll do it. Just I don't know when. Maybe tomorrow.